A middle-aged woman, divorced, lonely and full of regrets. One more reason why men are rethinking marriage. But first, let me tell you a story about Sarah, my wife's friend. This story is meant to teach you something. Sad to say, Sarah is 52 years old, divorced, and has 2 kids. She is very lonely. My wife met her for coffee not long ago, and Sarah spilled her heart out. I've seen a lot of marriages fail, but boys, pay attention to this one. Anthony, Sarah's ex-husband, finally had enough after 17 years. He was a good guy. He said she was a selfish wife who didn't love him. I don't like to talk about other people, but I wasn't shocked. Sarah made everything about herself all the time. I remember one dinner with them where Anthony felt he couldn't say a word. What about her birthday? That's more fancy than a royal wedding. Hi, Anthony. It was just a small part of his life story. The really interesting thing is that Sarah doesn't understand why she can't find a guy now that she's in the fall of her life. When my wife told me, I almost choked on my scotch. Men, I'm going to tell you straight out, there are a lot of women like Sarah. They take without giving and talk without hearing. Their selfishness is like a siren, drawing you in with their beauty and charm only to leave you wrecked. Guys, I'm not saying that all women are like Sarah. Not at all. But if you want to be happy in love, you need to learn how to spot the Sarahs. These things are red flags in expensive clothes. It's great to find a woman who listens, cares about you, and is more than just a pretty face. Don't waste your time with someone who only wants what's best for themselves. My friend, life is too short and you are too important. Remember Sarah's story the next time you're outside. Pick someone who makes your life better, not someone who just wants a stage to act on. That, gents, is how you can find the real thing. Why does Sarah feel bad about being alone with her 2 kids? As I told my wife, these are the 3 things Sarah misses the most now that she is single and doesn't have a boyfriend. Too focused on her job, she put it ahead of her family and husband. Let's go back to the story of Sarah. That story is a great example for you younger guys who want to learn how to be in a relationship. For Sarah, putting her work first and everything else second was the way to live. Now pay close attention, because this is where a lot of people go wrong. Sarah's job was everything to her. Anthony, is her husband? It was more like an aside, a small part in the big play of her life. What about the kids? Let's just say they knew their babysitter better than their mom. At a dinner party, Sarah couldn't stop talking about how great her business was doing. Anthony tried to add something about his day, but she looked at him as if he had just suggested they get a spider as a pet. They were all over the place, like a Picasso picture. Becoming very driven is one thing, but Sarah went too far. She took her indifference as a badge of honor and didn't notice that the world around her was falling apart. Anthony, who was a good person, just faded into the background. His wants and needs sat on the shelf of their life together, gathering dust. Guys, if you're looking for love and a real bond, keep an eye out for people like Sarah. You want a partner, not someone who sees you as nothing more than a source of income. There is no such thing as a business takeover in a friendship. Find someone who knows how to balance things and cares about you and the life you'll build together. Don't forget that you're taking on a life partner, not a CEO who might want to review you every 3 months. The key word is balance. Do not let yourself become just another thing someone needs to do. I agree that she lost some of her beauty as she added more than 40 pounds during the marriage. The story of Sarah is a harsh lesson for young men about the problems that can arise when you get married and fall in love. Why this chapter? The touchy subject of physical attractiveness, or in Sarah's case, the lack of it. Pay close attention, because this is a danger in our sensitive world right now. I won't say that Sarah got smarter while she was married, I'm talking about her views. To be exact, more than 40 pounds. I'm not the type to shame people for their weight, so don't jump on me. But let's face it, physical beauty is important, especially when you're married. Also, Sarah didn't age like a fine wine, she aged more like a piece of bread that was put away and forgotten. I remember Anthony, a nice guy, telling me something. He did not only miss the woman he married but also felt her absence. Sarah would get angry and call him stupid every time he brought it up. But guys, taking care of your looks while you're married isn't about ego, it's about respect, both for yourself and your partner. But what's on the inside that counts, some of you may say. Yes, but let's not fool ourselves. The packing is also important. It's about making an effort to show your partner you still care. Now that you're married, it's not about being picture perfect for a magazine cover. It's about not letting go of who you are. Young guys, learn from this. For their good and yours, Look for a person who knows how important it is to take care of themselves. Also, if you're the one who's not doing your part, get your socks on. Being in a relationship isn't a reason to give up, it's a reason to be the best person you can be. Remember that desire is a tricky thing. Feed and care for it, and please don't let it go hungry because you're no longer interested. So that's the real way to keep the spark going. Being nasty and angry all the time drove her husband away in the end. This is the next part of the story of Sarah, who is known as the Ballad of Sarah. Today's lesson is all about her personality, or more specifically, how angry and hostile she is all the time. Do you believe it's only in stories? Not so fast. Sarah, God bless her, was hot, and not in a good way. The woman was so angry that it would make a saint swear. Around her, it was like walking on eggshells with hot sauce all over your feet. Tony, her husband, tried to stay strong during the storm, but a man can only take so much before he starts looking for a way out. I remember one big party we had. Anthony just said that the steak was a little too done, and all of a sudden, it went off like a fireworks set off. He had to say sorry for wanting his steak to be less like ash in the end. Sarah, on the other hand, was like a teapot that was ready to burst at any moment. Guys, pay attention. One thing I've learned is that being angry all the time is bad for relationships. You never know when the time bomb will go off when you live with it. That is not a way to live. A man wants peace, not a place where there is always war. When you're looking for a partner, keep an eye out for these signs. It's fine to have a little fire and energy. But back off if she's more dangerous than holiday fireworks. That's not what you want, a lover. Remember that you want a life partner, not someone to live with and fight with. A friendship isn't a fight, it's a dance. Remember to take off your gloves, keep your eyes open, and please stay away from Sarah. They will only leave you hurt and worn out from fighting. She finds out too late that she can't get a good man unless. Sarah, my wife's friend, is a story full of lessons, especially for you young men who are dating in this dangerous world. Now, Sarah's story takes a turn when she realizes near the end that the way she felt about men was her weak point. You see, Sarah was out there again after her marriage fell apart. She thought she could just walk back into the dating scene with all of her charm still intact and suitors waiting in line. The catch is that good men aren't like low-hanging fruit that's ready to be picked. They have rules, demands, and, let's be honest, choices. Since Sarah has a history of being angry and cocky, she was fishing with guys who were, at best, not very good. Why? Because any man worth his salt can smell anger from a mile away and stay away from it. There's no way to sell a car that looks good on the outside but is full of sludge inside. Please don't get the wrong idea, I'm not saying that women should bow down to men. Not at all. But kindness, understanding, and a little humility go a long way. Women should be happy just getting Sarah's attention, but she thought she was the prize. That's not how it works, though. Dates are like dances, they go both ways. So, ladies and gents, this has two lessons. First, if you're looking for a partner, keep an eye out for people like Sarah. If a woman looks down on men or anyone else, she will only cause you pain and headaches. Second, if you act like Sarah, stop and think about it before you hurt yourself. Relationships are about working together and respecting each other. If you treat people badly, you won't be able to draw good people. Always remember that a good man wants a good woman. It's just math. Do not overstate the case, be polite, and most importantly, be honest. One more thing. Now that we've talked about Sarah, let's tie up any loose ends, shall we? She was too focused on her work, gained weight, had a dragon-like rage, and had a late realization about men. You've heard the stories. I think it's a pretty good soap show. But this little collection has skirted around an important subject that it should have waltzed into: how important it is to know yourself and grow as a person. Yes, Sarah's story shows a lot of bad things to avoid. Unfortunately, there isn't any self-reflection. If you will, this is the elephant in the room. Sarah, the main character in this not-so-fairy tale, forgot to look at herself in the mirror. Not just her body, but also her soul. Being self-aware is the most important thing in life, not just relationships. Not only should you be aware of your flaws, but you should also work to improve them. Who knows what Sarah would have done if she had looked at herself honestly, admitted her mistakes, and made plans to change. There were other ways the story could have ended. As you young men go out into the wild world of relationships and love, remember this: always keep a door open to your soul. Tell the truth about your flaws, work on them, and you will grow. Not only is it important to find the right partner, but also to be that partner. Finally, Please do not be a Sarah. Don't wait until your house is falling apart to fix it. Finding someone who puts up with your quirks isn't enough for a relationship to work, you have to grow and improve each other as well. Know yourself, be humble, and be ready to make changes that will make you better. Finally, learn from what Sarah did wrong. Don't try to hide your flaws, be a man who knows himself and tries to get better every day. That, my friends, is the real key to finding and keeping a good partner. Don't just be a catch, keep getting better as a catch.